and Minister Sylvester. I humbly request your audience and peaceable cognitive functions here at this moment where we have a timeline 1250 AMT in the special variation because here we are broadcasting live from Accra in Teshi around the Century Road where we have a little tent and we are managing under this. I would seek also your support, and that's always been the greatest decision to ever take and embark on what the path of knowledge that leads to understanding. And the scripture is not meant for preaching, but for what? Reproving creation. That is the first truth. Now, to have the fruitfulness of the first truth, it means that a perfect person, a perfect one, a reserve, if that be perfect, will now determine whether what is truth indeed is truth, whether the seed you place under the root is that which has spring up with the new and branches having fruit. So the fruit will confirm what seed you place in that very moisture and the soil and all of that. Now we will also delve quickly into the very main caption. We see it as a kind of presentation, and this had a great PowerPoint. How we can see dreadful what lashes. So we are talking about a few of these things that we would derive from Deuteronomy, and then few other scriptures as it is highlighted on the screen. And we'll be talking about 4 strips a day, and then 300 strips in 3 days. We want to see if what we are saying is truly a requirement. Let's say a man or a creature has sinned and then he is to be what? Punished right before his own face or in the presence. How many lashes should a person take or being given? Whether old or new or current is still the same law. But we cannot abuse that authority of Christ to say that it is no longer valid. But for Christ himself, that we even claim is who he is, he was also what? Stripped that same way and received some lashes. But what are we making of this? Mine is in the days of what? Heavy. You gotta call it great works. What is great about what I'm saying? Compare with 40 and then 30. Now you may look at it like 4 is bigger than 30. But in this sense, we are going to look at how many times would 4 divide maybe 3 or 30, or just put 40 into what? 300. Then you will know the number of times it would have occurred 40 times being beaten or whipped in school, where it is even against the law. If we compare with what the scripture states as a law, let's move quickly with the scripture that states it or make it clear to us how it should be, even if it was that old or new testament. So I'll be right on the display board so that we look at a few materials made available. I'll be right back after this break. Welcome back. We are still tuned in. So let's check quickly those scriptures that makes it reality of what I'm saying. You may enjoy that kind of music in the background and have water also on your side. Now we'll go for Deuteronomy 25 and the following verses. And we'll look at the verse number 3. We are only what? Quoting as it is given. For we cannot just rise up and begin to do things anyhow. Yes, we cannot do things anyhow. Now for the number 3, it says 40 strips he may give him, and not exceed, lest if he should exceed and beat him above this with many strips, then thy brother should seem vile unto thee. It means that the person has gone extra mile and he's become what? Your worst enemy than giving you what? The right judgment that you were supposed to be given according to the law. But when it exceeds, it means he's beyond, or he's gone beyond what is stated to have been your punishment. That means there should be something behind that happening. Now, what should be the reason why you have to be given maybe 4 or 40 lashes? That it should not exceed this very number. And compare that with what I will display on the board as we see it. Take a look. In verse 1 it says what? If there be any controversy between men, and they come unto judgment. So what do we need before we can operate? You need a judgment. You don't need a court. You don't need a Supreme Court, because it's not fully functional to what? Explain or best describe the act found in creation. For if Supreme Court or law of the state should judge, it means it will judge accurately based on what? The Holy Scripture. It means someone who is able to discern and ascend and have been given authority not by men, but from heaven, naturally, or supernaturally given, as the angel or as a saint, so that he would pass the right judgment to whatever should be given. Now, that the judge may judge them, then they shall justify the righteous. So almost every time they reserve who we term as the righteous, the good doer, or the doer of the words, who fall not, but may be tempted. But that doesn't make him the wicked, because he is on the path. And condemn the wicked. So there are 2 things here. You would justify the righteous, and then you do what? You condemn the wicked. That's what leads to what? The verse 3. Now you know what verse 3 is dealing with. Now let's go on the green for verse 2. Now listen. And if so we have to hold a word, because I said we no longer want to be sounding the SHALL. So that and it or and it whole be, and it whole be, if the wicked man be worthy to be beaten, that the judge shall cause him to lie down and to be beaten before his face, according to his fault, X a certain number. Why we don't use this BY again? Because it's corrupt. I know it. We don't have to use it. We have to just put X over there, because X knows all the angles at this moment. But this BY cannot corrupt the whole system. I know why we won't use it. Some of the things, unless you know where the language has been formed or made. Now take a look at what the scripture says. Now, if we are to know that you can give lashes to such a person 40 strips, let's go into it and see. 40 compare with this. 40 compare with this. Now let's assume that the Bible 40 lashes is what we say is what? 40 strips a day. Now look at someone, that is myself, having been to school without sin. My own is not sin, it's schooling. And I attend my own school. You know that I'm not supposed to be taught by men, according to the Holy Bible or Scripture. if I am led or brought up from the heavens, then I have my own spirit or the spirit of the Lord that will teach or guide it. That is even the word of the Lord, that for whom he had foreknown, he also predestined, and that he justified and also had glorified. So he, the Lord that called you or sent you, he will be the Lord to be with you in guiding you through all things that you have to do. That no man is to guide you or to ask you even question about what you are doing, that you may have any answer given, except the Lord who called you or the Lord who sent you. Now, 300. Now look at it, 300. So 300 strips in 3 days. And I've been lashed in one primary school in SDA Ahinkro or in Chumbru. So this one is under the same authority, but in Chumbru to be precise location, and under in Chumbru in Mimpe Kasa. In that SDA school, I had my temple school. And in the primaries of it, so I was there when the primary schools were built, new ones. So almost every time that I have to even embark on any journey, a new system or a new, building have been put up or infrastructure put in place. And I've always enjoyed whatever I've built or that has been built in my presence. Now look at it. In one of these, I have received, let's say, 100 lashes a day for not going to school. So I'll be home or try to be in a council somewhere in the hidden, just focusing on my own path. Then they will send men or people or special giant among them to come look for us. And they will also do everything. The Spirit has been doing this. The Spirit would perform everything to make sure I'm arrested from wherever place I've gone hidden. Even thinking about myself and why I didn't go to school probably, you don't know. But I will also send for my what? Absence and presence. And then in one day, I have received lashes. 100 lashes. So now take a look at 40 into 100. Already, I have received what? 2 times 40 and then extra 20. It means that the scripture had not been fulfilled but had been broken. A law has been broken. There, as the what? As the scripture says what? They should not exceed 40 lashes or the strips. But in one day, I've received what? 4, that is 2 times the 40 plus extra 20. Then the following day, I said, I won't go to school again because you've not solved the situation or the problem at hand. And then they came for me again. Then another 100. Then another 100. How many times they need again? How many 40s they need again? Then I received another 40. That is 40 times 2 plus 20. So how many 40s now? 4 40s. So 2 plus 2. Then that is also what? So already we're getting what? 5. 5 40s. Which is not supposed to even happen in one day more than 40. But I've received what? In 2 days, 5 40s. Then another day I said I won't go continuously because they still haven't got it. If you have known what is wrong with someone, you only assess it through spiritual means. But the same spiritual means had led to the thing that is happening. That is the scripture. So the Bible has been home, or the scripture or kingdom work has been home, and all of that. And sometimes they won't know why I won't go to school, but there is an obvious reason I won't go, because this is a different person. And it continued, they lash it again. Or assume that I have been lying, that I have been whipped these numbers. Unless you find out from nature how many lashes I have received, if they didn't count it, then countless, you cannot even number it. And the truth is, the neem tree is the witness. That's why you will see it healing and blowing air, because it is a testimony that I have been beaten more than it is supposed to be. In one school, not one day, just say one occurrence of such things. So I won't count maybe the number of times will be whipped or received, but all of that. Then in churches, it will also happen. But this is the very more crucial moment I can say. Let's compare this with what you said probably Christ had received. Can you see this well, very well? Where indeed can you compare Maria's son or Christ, his lashes, with this 300? Only in 3 days, you are seeing all these lashes. And his own is even, let's say, 40 as required by the Holy Scripture. Now take another scripture and see what I'm going to show you from that. Now take Matthew, this Matthew 27, verse 6, that is 27, verse 26. Now we won't even take the 26. So 27 verse it's even okay, seeing the way it is. Even the 27 will tell that. Then the soldiers, so it means that it was not just a mere man or creatures, but what? Then the soldiers of the governor took the Christ. So this name you change it. Only when you know what name it is. As you can code it. Into what? The common hall. So you realize that when I say what? Hall, hall, hall. When I take the S out, now you see that the hall sound in here. And it's raining. And it's raining already. Around this time again, it's raining. It's 1:06 AMT. It's raining. And gathered unto him the whole band of what? Soldiers. And what did they do in 28? And they stripped him and put on him a scarlet robe. And it continues like that. So before you act, don't act of ignorance or giving power from people or ex-people to abuse. You must know your limits. If not, you cannot win a battle before this very one. Because I would ask you or charge you, what you've done, do you really understand it? You don't know how many times I've been denied in this world. How do you think I would be denied and the truth and nature would not know who is their loved indeed in the reality of spirit? All these things happen. And that for such reasons, I did many things say there should be no more lashes in school. I wanted it to be like abroad. That is why all this came to the time you cannot whip the children. I'm the same person who did say it. I'm the one who said that you cannot whip the children in school. Or you can't whip me in school. Because, I don't sin. So I am always in my lighted skin and the fabric without even pants under it. So you whipping and killing this person, you don't know. And this my bottles had received many times as it is, without sin, without breaking the law. I decide not to go to your school, and you don't know what to back what I'm doing. It's the same scripture. So to also say you've done it well, then the scripture must have even corrected you. Even as you were told, try to guess that how many lashes had Christ received. You were told 39 out of the 40. Or they couldn't even count accurately. But in my own days, they will whip and they are counting. Keeping track records of happening. Where would you compare this with who? How many times? More than 7 40s in 3 days. Plus. And having just one of it, less than 40 or 40. Where would you compare it? And you can see how voluminous and packed and well packed it is. Do you agree or you understand? So that when it gets to the extreme, all these things will happen. And I'm the same person who did say that we would like to have the school, that I can stay home as a year or 6 months roughly, or barely 4 months, like just wanted to have a freedom to be able to do my things home. And now all those things had happened in many years in advance. like recently when you were hit by the 19, and the 19 is my result again, and I'm the same person who said no. For the suffering that comes with what I'm doing, then unless the Lord begin what? To destroy you. And that's why all those things happen. My word, it will not fail, as the scripture tells you. Love suffered, but it does not fail. So all this thing tells that I am on the pace, gradually making it as a crab, but smarter into what? That very pit. And it went in the hidden. I have many things. I'm the same reason all this technology, almost everything that you have been given freely came, but I've never enjoyed one person. But when there's time for sin and one who will receive the pain, then they return it unto the one who is innocent. That is where the Lord will punish you. And it's raining. It is raining. So looking at all this happening, look at the time I have begun something. Let's say 1, 2, 3, 3. At the time I finish it, it's 12, right? So that is the Judas or the carrot in it. And the 33 is talking about the Christ. At the time I started it. And now the time is what? 1:11 AMT. And it's raining heavily right now. Because the Lord buried his own angels. They're witness that I have truly gone through it. And nothing has been paid to me than building a nation and having many prophecies yet to be received in answer or material. And for such reasons, I don't joke or play with my life. Thank you for this understanding. But that the reality is, many other things I have also said many years ago, but they only happen at a time or right time. I did say one thing and then it's happening one thing. It is a word of the Lord that made it. So the Lord's Spirit boasted. How can I be hungry after going through all this? And you think that is love that I should be that one suffering for a sinner to enjoy? No. If I ever prayed it, now it's time. It's my own rule that at the 8:33, even as the clock is showing, I will change. So the change is what is showing you that maybe I am that. You don't expect that I should be that way. I cannot suffer anymore for someone to gain because I'm the one working. I also have a family. And yet to raise what? My love in the what? Excellence of princess's kingdom. I can't be doing this. I can't rent out my life again for the enemy. We've always done it by my own, living and glorifying the Lord of the heavens and the universe. So even if I did not come from any God, I have come from far throughout the travel in the Milky Way into the universe. I have something bigger than you expect or you're looking at. I'm the one who formed the rain, the cloud. Even to say that I'm worker, that is where the Lord said he needs a worker. So once I have been able to perform or do this, then I am a true worker. A worker in the sense that I know what I do, that from the rain or the cloud and bring the waters. Thank you so much. Let me go get one cup and drink. Even what I've said is also scriptural based. And the Lord said, where he has placed the people whom he has directed, when it rains, they should use the water as the rain for drinking and doing all things. And so in Konya, we use it like that. Thank you. We'll be right back.